Zimbabwe. This is Studio 7 Live Talk coming to you from the Voice of America in Washington this Friday, June the 11th, 2021. I'm Marvelous Mhlanga-Nyahuye, broadcasting from my home in Washington, D.C. due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
And I'm Tungamili Nkomo.
And tonight, we are going to start with the COVID-19 pandemic, giving you numbers of what's happening also regarding the second phase of the COVID-19 vaccination program. To date, the Ministry of Health says that there are 39,496 confirmed cases of COVID-19 since March last year, including 36,940 recoveries and 1,626 deaths. And talking about the COVID-19 vaccine program, which is now in its second phase, we see that there are 690,452 people that have been vaccinated against COVID-19.
And yesterday, there were 4 deaths recorded, as well as 64 new positive cases. And also looking at the global map, we have 3.7 million people who have succumbed to the respiratory illness so far. And we also have 174 million people who have been infected with this disease. And according to Johns Hopkins University, some 2.2 billion vaccines have been administered one way or the other.
And then, Tunga, as usual, we are also going to be looking at the latest political developments in the country. We saw this week was a very heated one in terms of the political developments that were happening in the country in Tunga.
Yes, Mava, lingaba lichona njani emakhaya siyadibana kuhlelo live talk lapho siqhubeka sikhangela umkhuhlane we-coronavirus as we normally do on a daily basis. Sizakhuluma njalo ngohlelo lokubhalisela ukuvota, i-voter registration with worrying reports from the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, as well as civil society groups that turnout for registration is so far very low. Isikhangele amanani ayizolo kubhubhe abantu abane nge-COVID-19 kanti njalo kulaba ngamashumi ayisithupha lane 64 ababanjwe lo mkhuhlane. From umbimbitho umkhuhlane lo ufika eZimbabwe nyakenye, so kulabantu phose abangu 40,000 asebebanjwe lo mkhuhlane, to be precise bangu 39,496, and out of those kulabangu 36,940 asebe silile. Ngokuswelakala kwenhlanhla asebebhubhile bayinkulungwane elamakhulu edlula ayisithupha, 1,626 abantu asebefile. And lokho kuthiwa ngama-active cases, the number of people who are currently sick in Zimbabwe, not sick per se, but infected with this virus, bangu 930. Less than 1,000, which is a bit impressive, but the worrying trend esibonayo kulezi nsuku ukuthi ayenyuka emihla ngemihla amanani lawa maf.
Tunga tokuchingamidzai mese muri pachirongwa chedu pari zvino. Tokuchingamidzai sezvo nhasi tiine gango semusi wechishanu kudai pachirongwa chedu chelive talk icho tiri kutepfenyura tiri kumba pamusoro pedenda rechirwere cheCovid-19. Sekuziya kwamuri kuita pari zvino nyika iri pasecond phase yekubaya nhomba dzeCovid-19. Saka tichange tiri kutarisa kuti izvi zvamira sei uyezve kuti uwandu hwevanhu vari kubatwa nedenda irori reCovid-19 munyika pari zvino rakamira sei. Bazi rezveutano rinozivisa iro kuti pane vanhu kubvira chirwere ichi chatanga muna March gore rapfuura vanosvika 39,496 vakabatwa nedenda iri reCovid-19. tichiona zvakare vamwe vakabatwa neCovid-19 asi vakakunda denda iri vari pa36,940 vari kunzi ivo marecoveries. Tozotarisa vakabatwawo nedenda iri munyika vakatadza kurikunda vari pa1626. Totarira iyo second phase yekubayiwa nhomba yechirwere cheCovid-19, bazi rezveutano rinoti pane vanhu 690,452 vabatwa vachiwanikwa ivo vachibayiwa nhomba iyi yeCovid-19. Saka ndo zvimwe zvinhu zvatichange tiri kukurukura ipo pano, tichitarisa zvakare magadziriro ari kuitwa panyaya yevoter registration nemapato ari munyika ari kuita zvematongerwo enyika. Tichitarisa ZANU-PF uyezve MDC Alliance nemamwewo mapato ari munyika pari zvino kuti ndezvipi zvavari kutarisana nazvo panguva ino mugadziriro yatingati iye voter registration. Saka tine vanyarikani vedu vari pano, saka tabva tangovapinza muchirongwa antunga kuitira kuti tibva tawanikwa isu tichikurukura muzuva ranhasi, nekuti vanyarikani vedu pari zvino vari kubva kunzvimbo dzakasiyana siyana. Tine vamwe vari kubva kuBulawayo uyezve vamwe vari kubva imo muno muAmerica asi vari kunzvimbo yeCanada pari zvino. Tichatanga nevari kuZimbabwe kuti mumbotiudza veMDC Alliance. Hello, kana muri kutinzwa vaSweden Chirodza, kana muri kutinzwa ibva mapinda muchirongwa muchitiudza kuti zvakamira sei kuMDC Alliance panyaya yekuti muwanikwe imi muchitsvaga vanhu rutsigiro rwekuvhota rwe2030.
2023.
Ndinotenda kuva pachirongwa chestudio 7. Nyaya iri kuitika muno muBulawayo ndeyekuti vanhu vakawanda vanoda chaizvo kunge vachitorwa maparticulars vachirejista kuti vange vachiwanikwa vachizokwanisa kuvhota mugore ra2023. Asi dambudziko riri sekuti ZEC haichaiti makiosk yaisoita makore adarika. Tanga tine urongwa neZEC kuti ZEC yaiuya kumatownship yoisa matafura ayo kugadzika equipment, vanhu voya vachirejista. Zvino nyaya yapo yezvinezvi ndeyatinoti muchirungu lack of accessibility, sekuti ZEC haichadi kuti inge ichienda kumatownship ichireva kuti vanhu vakuchifanirwa manje vachipinde muhomwe vawane mari dzekukwira kuenda kuZEC vachirejista. Inyaya tinoti netei kuvanhu vakawanda. Saka dambudziko retenge tinaro nderekuti nderekuwana mari yekuhaya motokari, tora motokari tinge tichikwidza vanhu vachienda kuZEC kwacho. Zvino nyaya zvinge zviri nyore kuti tiwane makombi, asi mazuva ano mapurisa haabvumiri makombi kufamba. Kunyanya kana vakaona kuti kombi yachina ine vanhu vanodarika kana vatatu, vanhu vanenge vachichaira vanenge vakushungurudzwa nemapurisa. Kureva kuti pane paakudika motikari diki nokuti maHonda Fit ndo ari kunzi ari kubvumidzwa kufamba. Zvino kana une mhomho yevanhu unenge wakutozohaya maHonda Fit akawanda, zvichireva kuti mari yachina inenge ichidikana ipapo, inenge iri mari yakawanda chaizvo. Saka dambudziko riri paaccessibility yekuti ZEC iri kuramba kuenda kunorejista vanhu kumalocation. Takange tamboita urongwa ihwohwo muna 2018 na29 tine chikamu chaitungamirwa naprovincial organizing secretary wedu vaTepiso Mpofu. Saka iye zvinezvi ZEC yaakuramba. Chinotishamisa ndechekutoti ZEC yakatitaura iyo kuti Bulawayo ine dambudziko rekuti maconstituency anenge Magwegwe neCountrypark haana vanhu vanosvitsa 26,000. Saka maconstituency anenge achidikana kuti pawanikwe vanhu vanorejista. Zvino kana ZEC isingaendi ikoko, zvinoreva kuti vanhu vemunzvimbo imomo vanofanira kuti vasimuke vachienda kunorejista kuZEC kwacho. Asi kunorejista kwacho kunodikana mari, chekufambisa hapana. Sekuti kuite urongwa nevanhu veZUPCO zvinoti netsei nekuti zvinenge zvaakurerekera futi kuhurumende. Saka pakazonzi kwaunzi MDC Alliance mashandiro esenge chiita makore adarika handidai kuti zvinobvuma. Pozoyawo dambudziko rekuti vekuzeki vari kuti ivo equipment yavo haisi kunyatsoita. Ko equipment yezeki yazotadza kuita nguva ino isei iriyo equipment yengu vari kushandisa yavaiti biometrical voter registration inozikanwa nezita rekuti BVR. Saka nguva inoyi haisi nguva yekuti zeki inge ichitaura vanhu kuti equipment haisi kushanda. Michina yavo inofanira kungowanikwa ichishanda sekuti vanhu vatakaendesa kunorejista muna November takazowanikwa varejista muna April. Ira kuti zeki iri kunonoka kuno kvari kutaurawo kuti michina yavo haisi kushanda chira kuti idambudziko kuti vanhu vange vachirejista. Ndingangoti ndo dambudziko ratiri kuwana kuno kubulawayo mashandiro atiri kuita nevanhu vezeki.
Mombobata henyu makadaro ipapo tichadzoka kwamuri. Ameno varejista charumbira kuti muri kutinzwa here kwamuri ikoko kuCanada kuti mutipewo urongwa hwebato
zvakanaka.
Taurai tinzwa.
Muri kundinzwawo?
Taurai tinzwa.
Alright, handinoda kutenda zvikuru vataura before us vekuMDC vane chido chokuti vange vachivhotawo, which is a right to every citizen. I think problem yavataura iyi handifungi kuti vakananga kuMDC. I think it's a national issue that I have not yet came across that startup information iyoyo kuti ndo zviri kuitika kuZeki. What I've heard is voter registration is about immense, and I think my logistics they are being put in place. So maybe it's too early for them to judge because as far as other provinces are concerned, so far it's not an issue. So I think let's wait a little bit and see how other provinces are going to start their voters registration, and then we can make it an issue. As far as ZANU-PF, we have been ready. We've been campaigning from the last campaign. We have not stopped campaigning. We are not afraid of the election. We are ready to win this 2023 election with a resounding victory. We are very confident that His Excellency, the President of Zimbabwe, Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa, is going to have a victory and a resounding victory of this time around. Apart from that, if there is an issue with ZEC, like I said, let's wait and see. I think it's too early for us to comment. And also, I hope this is not a way of trying to shift the blame and Scott getting ZANU-PF. That ZANU-PF is trying to come up with another trick. I'm sure that's not the way we are going. Thank you very much.
Mtunga.
Siyabezwa lapho ubaba uCharumbira webandla leZANU-PF lizwile njalo lo baba uSwithan Chirodza weMDC Alliance singakaphenduki kulabo bobabili ekathesi siye silomnumzana Brandon Arnold Malaba lapha ngowenhlanganiso ye-Unizim Trust okuyinhlanganiso ephatheke kunhlelo zokukhuthaza ikakhulu abasakhulayo ukuthi bayebhalisa. Ngilaye lapha ecingweni mnumzana Malaba ngiyakwamukela uhlelo.
Salibonani.
Kunjani koBulawayo?
Kobulawayo ku-right kuthuli kakhulu.
Bakithi kungathula kanjani? Kumele kube kuphithizela njengoba kuyisikhathi sokubhalisela ukuvota.
Sure.
Sike saxoxa ngaphambilini lapho sithi yebo abantu ngani bayadonda kancane kodwa abanye bayabhalisa. Ungachasisela uZulu ukuthi unjani umumo kahle kahle?
awumumo unzima. Abantu ngani bayasaba ukuyavota but ngeke sama. Sizotshona sibakhuthaza ukuthi bebuye sithi kuzovota ngenxa yokuthi njengama youth sinje so sifuna i-representation and yona le representation ingaba khona na wonke umuntu onguyouth ehambe evota lathi phakathi khona pha.
Belilo hlelo kumavika sanda kwedlula lapho ebelibambisana khona I think i-election resource center lithwala abantu lisiya labo kuma registration center lusakhona yini lolo hlelo?
Lelo hlelo solwaphela but isifiso yikuthi khona luzaphenduka futhi.
Sithe sixoxa njalo kolunye uhlelo lwezindaba wathi wena ukungaphakami kwabantu lokhu kuza kuba lomthelela omubi kakhulu ikakhulu kudaba lokuhlelwa kutsha kwama constituencies esingathi delimitation of constituencies. Akuchasisela abalaleli khonapho ukuthi kuqhakatheke njani lokho?
So lapha ngizokhuluma on my personal point of view ngasikhuluma about ama-delimitation exercises ukuthi are important.
Qhubeka ba.
Yo adetermine ukuthi kuzaba lama-constituencies amangaki. So if abantu bangekela ukuya-register ukuvota and izek njalo ngahle kuba kwazi ukuthi kulabantu abangaka so kuyabe kuzohlupha next time abantu nxa sosiyavota. So kuba besithi ukuthi ama-delimitation are important so that come 2023 kube lama constituencies are enough ukuthi ekhona ukuthi wonke umuntu ekwanisa ukufika khona.
Ngamanye amazwi nje alula nxa ungachasisela umuntu bambi kuhle ungathi asithi kobulawayo kathesi kulabantu abangu-million then bonke be-eligible ukuthi bavote kodwa kubhalise abantu abangu-500 khona kuvele abangu-500,000 khona kuvele say kulama constituencies angu-35 ngezinye indlela ngoba kuyabe kubhalisa abantu abalutshwana lalawo ma constituencies ayakwanisa ukwehliswa angithi kunjani?
Kunjalo.
Ontanga bona bathini okuyibo elibajonge kakhulu nxa likhuluma la?
Ontanga bona bakhala babesifuza ukuthi thina kambe siyatholani because siyabe sisithi thina siyavota i-change esifunayo ingekho so babe sithi kumele wayemile sihambe siyovota njalo abanye babe bekhala besithi hey ngendlela i-economic situation yethu eyiyo ukuthi mina ngihambe ngiyovota ngithiya into engizithengisayo hayi kuyahlupha ngoba khonapho khonokho engikuthengisayo lamhlanje yanje yikho enza kusebenzisa ukuthi ngidle mbayimbayi lemuli yami. And abanye baye bekhala besithi hey nxa kule i-registration center A1 ivuliwe uma ngiwakhona hayi mude njalo khona okusasesikhangele lesikhathi sokuthi umuntu ngizaza khona ukuwalk 5 kilometers 10 kilometers kabe kuyisikhathi angabede khona ukuthi ebeyenze something.
Ngezinye indlela uthi ama registration centers akhatshana lakhatshana ngokunjalo abantu kabafinyeleli kuhle. Iselike lazama yini ukukhulumisana lezeki?
Manje khonapho mina ngabe ngela i-official comment ukuthi ngalitela njani bona bezeki yibo sibili abangakhona ukuphendula kuhle but sibili akhona ama-initiatives okukhuluma lezeki asekayenzakala ama-organization ekhuluma layo bababuza ukuthi becela ukuthi kuvulwe ama-registration centers so that ukuthi abantu from different places bekhone ukufika endaweni zakhona.
Hayi siyabonga khonapho Malava uqhubeka ubambile ecingweni lungaqhuma ucingo lwakho nza kufonela futhi siyabonga.
Bonge.
Mavu avanzwapo va Malava vari kutaura I think point amboraizwa na nabachirodza nxa ngaphazami khonapho chirodza I think inke ngakuzwa lawo khuluma ngokuthi ama registration centers akhatshana lakhatshana kunjalo
vachirodza muri kunzwe
kunjalo
taurei
ndiri kuzinzwa handisizwa kuti muda nditaure nelanguage ita
unotaura nendebele
khuluma ngesindebele ba
so
izeki njengoba lilibandla selike lazama
ama-registration center la akhatshana kakhulu lokhuzeni kula lapho kuhlala khona abantu ngicela ukuthi ngikunike omunye umzekeliso ongaphandle kweBulawayo ukananzelela ukuthi izeki ifake umbiko izeki ithi yona voter registration for Matabele South i-address ye-Gwanda 119 Big Ben Road Jahunda Gwanda angithi kodwa siyazi thina ukuthi i-plum tree layo yilokhu zenini yi-part of Bulawayo South i-Bike Bridge yi-Bulawayo South kodwa bakhipha umbiko ukuthi i-address e-voter registration ingaphi iseGwanda koBulawayo i-voter registration center ikulokhu zenini isefamona laphana duzane le-fire brigade kunumber 16 Centenary Court Windsor Park building so umuntu ovele eCowdry Park kumele agade umchova aye khona ngale thina sibe besithayazelela ukuthi izeki yenze lokho esavumelana khona kudala size sikhulume lo mama ukhuphe izeki kulo babu Innocent Ncube lo mama ukhuphe esavumelana nabo sathi thina kumele babe lama kiosk and lokho sike sakwenza thina umnyaka ka2019 ngibona ngasekuqaliseni kuka2020 ukuthi kube lama kiosk lapha abathatha khona imithina yabo bahambe emalokitshini right abantu bebe sebesuka ezindaweni zabo besiyo register endaweni eziyabe ziduzane kodwa yathezwa nanzelela ukuthi imchova esasilayo kudala eyamakhombe akula sokulama Honda Fit kusuka kube kudule kakhulu ukuthi abantu sibathathe thina besiyo register ngaphi efamoni njalo enye into ebiqhakathekileyo engazange ngiyikhulume ukuthi uzananzelela ukuthi abezanu bona wakhanya vele akubahluphi ukuthi abantu be-register ukhanya lokhu into ehluphayo abantu be-MDC nxa ngikhangela mina wami umbono ngibona ukuthi kuhlupha abantu be-MDC ngoba i-MDC ebinqoba emadolobheni abezanu ayibachelesile nxa kungaba le-delimitation equma ama-constituency emadolobheni ngoba bona vele bebenikezwa ama-constituency emakhaya bebenikezwa ayikhona ukunqoba ngoba vele azange sivume ukuthi izanu yasinqoba so ngibona kuyinto ephazamisa uzulu kusuka kube nzima ukuthi abantu bethole lezo zimali ezokuya kuma-registration center izeki ayithi ayimelanga icatshe ngokuthi imtshina kayisebenzi izeki kumele yenze umsebenzi njengengxenye kahulumende itshengisa ukuthi ifaka izinto ezithandwa nguzulu phambili isifiso zikaZulu phambili ayikhona ukuthi isifiso sezanu phambili
hayi siyabonga Chirodza qhubeka ubambile khonapho hanzi nabachirodza amave ZANU PF haizi kunetsekana zvachose nekuti vanhu vange vachinyoresa kuti vavhote hameno vacharumbira varipo here vapindure ipapo
regai tibva tati vachirodza taurai zvamataura neshona tinyatsonzwisisana so that vacharumbira vabva vapindira matii panyaya yedelimitation yekutaurwai
ngacherechedza vanhu vanotsigira bato reMDC Alliance ndo vega vari kushushikana panyaya yevoter registration ngacherechedza gore ra2019 na2020 tekeke tine urongwa namai Kupe nababa Ncube vekuno kubulawayo vekuzeki kuti vaite mavoter registration kiosk mumatownship urongwa havasi kuita parizviri. Saka kana muchicherechedza izvo zvinoita kuti vanhu vawane dambudziko. Vanhu dambudziko raapo ndere transport, sekuti makombi haachabvumirwa kufamba. Kana makombi akatakura vanhu, munongoziva kuti marimwe zuru kune makombi akapiswa mutaundi. Saka pane dambudziko pakutsvaka motokari dzinotakura vanhu. Saka isu toona kuti izvozvizvi ndo zvimwe zvinhu zvinokanganisa vanhu kuti varejeste. Ndakupai muenzaniso weGwanda. Voter registration yekugwanda, address yapuwa neVEC inoti 1194 Big Ben Road, Chahunda, Gwanda. That's a voter registration yeMati South yapiwa neVEC. Mukatarisa mepi yenyu yeZimbabwe, Gwanda pairi, vanhu vangafare kuzivawo futi kuti Plum Tree iri under Matabeleland. Pipe Bridge iri under Matabeleland Sound. Zvichireva kuti munhu anoda kurejista kuvhota anofanira kuti akwire mabhazi akuti Plum Tree opinda muBulawayo, Bulawayo inokwira futi achienda kuti kuGwanda kunorejista. Saka zvichireva kuti munhu anofanira kufamba maybe 400 kilometers to and fro kuti anorejista kuvhota. Tamuona kutoti no zvinhingampini zviri kuiswa munzira yevanhu kuti vasakwanise kuvhota neveVEC. Zvireva kuti panogona kunge pane zvavakatarisira kuti vawane. Kuno kuBulawayo Voter Registration Center yanziyo 16 Centenary Court, Windsor Park, Famona. Saka mudunhu rese reBulawayo vanhu vese vanokurudzirwa kuti vaende ku16 Centenary Court kuFamona. Izvi tinozoona kuti no, hazvisi zvinhu zvakanaka. VEC inofanira kuti iende kumatownships vachiita set up voter registration kiosk kuti zvive nyore, zvireruke kuti vanhu vadini varejiste kuvhota. Sekuti VEC inofanira kunge ichikurudzira kuti maconstituency emumadhorobha kana maconstituency anenge arimo mudunhu achiendesa kumaruwa, nekuti kumaruwa ndiko kwagara kuchiwina ZANU-PF. Saka mukacherechedzawo futi maitiro ari kuita vanhu veZANU-PF vanenge vasina kana shungu nezvekurejista kuvhota, nokuti vanenge vane kakuziva kuti kana pakakatwa maconstituency inongobhenefita kumaruwa kwavagara vachipiwa, kwete kunzira ndo kwavanopuwa masiti akawanda. Saka ndo dambudziko ratinaro muno muBulawayo rekuti VEC harisi kuita stand up for the citizenry. It's an arm of government inofanira kunge ichiita its civic duty. It must go to the citizens.
So maybe just in English, what do you think is the way forward before we get to Mr. Charumbira to just answer you on what you've been alleging?
In the way forward for VEC?
Yeah, the way that you see it as MDC Alliance, how would you like this situation to be resolved?
No, VEC must come to the party. VEC cannot say that there's a delimitation. There's a limitation that is coming, which is going to see a reduction in seats, and then not make it possible for citizens to register to vote. Because vote is a constitutional right, and VEC is funded to make it possible for citizens to register to vote. But what we are seeing is that VEC is actually putting impediments for citizens to register and vote. So the previous arrangement that we had was that was an arrangement where VEC would set up voter kiosks in the townships, and which arrangement has since been discontinued. And now citizens are expected to shoulder the burden of finding their own way to VEC, which may be next to impossible. So I gave the example of Gwanda, whose registration center is given as 1194 Big Ben Road. And you notice that somebody in Plum Tree would now need to travel 400 kilometers to and fro to access a voter registration center. somebody in Beitbridge would have to assess, would have to travel about 150 kilometers to and fro to access a voter registration center. That is almost impossible. And ZEC is making it impossible for citizens to register. ZEC must be patriotic, ZEC must be civic, it is a civic duty, and it gets taxpayers' money to make it possible for citizens to register. And that's what we expect for ZEC to do. ZEC must come to the party.
Thank you very much, Ntunga.
Yebo Mav, simzwile lapho uchirodza uthi iZimbabwe Electoral Commission kukhanya ayizimiselanga ukuqhuba umsebenzi ngemfanelo ngoba ama-registration centers akhatshana lakhatshana okwenza abantu bahambe imimango emide kakhulu besiyabhalisa. Ameno Mavi kuti vacharumbira vachiri pere parunhare vapindure
vacharumbira manzwa zvanga zviri kutaurwa navachirodza student chirodza veMDC Alliance vari kuti imimi veZANU-PF hamuchi kutombotya nekuti munoziva kuti pane zvamakawana.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sister Marvelous. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm outside. Thank you very much for the speaker from the MDC. I believe it's Alliance. Those are valuable concerns if they are true. However, as you know, the relationship that ZANU-PF and MDC always have. We are coming to the time where the relationship is going to be exciting, as we all know. That MDC Alliance always have some new mechanism each and every almost election that we have. So it's not a surprise to hear MDC Alliance already speculating and raising concerns that are unfounded. I think we all know that our country is suffering some economic issues. And I would think from the time that sanctions that were brought by the party that the just speaker who was speaking here brought to our country, if we didn't have those sanctions, we would have not have all those issues that we are having right now. So I would also want to say this to him and his party, MDC Alliance, that don't you see that these sanctions are now hitting even your party? Because now you want to go and vote, but it is all about resources. The government has been trying all this time from the day that your colleagues, your seniors went to United States to beg for sanctions. Now those sanctions are hitting even our elections. They are hitting even you to go and find a nearby place for you to cast your vote. So I'm sure now you are able to view and see because it has come close to home. However, the fact that the centers are being, he's saying the centers are being moved from where they used to be. They are being put far away. I have not heard that information yet, but I don't think so. I wouldn't believe ZEC would do that, even if we are having challenges as far as the budget of the election is concerned. And also what I wanted to say to the MDC Alliance is that this budget of the election is the government that you always blame that comes with that budget for you to have accessibility to cast your vote. So you can't continue to just dig down the government, and now you want them to provide resources for you so that you can cast your vote. At the same time, he was talking about transportation. When did we have this issue? You are blaming the government now because it's towards the election, and we know that this is what you do all the time as MDC Alliance. You always want, you know what you did in the previous election. It called the elections off before the results were released, and now you're already crying foul way before an election. You are now blaming the government that we don't have transportation. We are not allowed to do this and this as far as our accessibility, our mobility is concerned. But you know that there's COVID. You know that this COVID-19 pandemic is still there. I thought when we started this program, I don't know if you were here, you heard them, they were playing, giving us the figures of people dying. 4 people died of COVID just now in our country. So you want us to open up so that you have got mobility, so you can fill up your people and take them to your rallies. And then after that, the COVID pandemic will be over. You know that for sure because of sanctions. We are actually begging for vaccines in Zimbabwe. And all this is because we are being crippled by an animal called MDC Alliance. If this animal was not there, we could have even all the vaccines that other countries have. But you know what? Thanks to His Excellency, the President of Zimbabwe, Comrade Emerson Mnangagwa, if you heard Comrade Malema was actually applauding for the President of Zimbabwe that in Zimbabwe you can get a vaccine faster than in South Africa. So you see that this government is not a government. It's actually being very competitive. It's actually doing better than Ramaphosa in South Africa. So we are doing everything possible, but we are not going to lose sleep because of MDC Alliance. We know for sure that people are going to have access to vote. That's not going to be a problem at all. How we will know, but people are going to have accessibility to vote. But we will reject and we will continue to refuse this notion of you trying to let the government loosen the COVID-19 restrictions. I think that's being so evil. You have been so evil enough to put us sanctions. Our hospitals are dilapidated. Our economy is now being resuscitated by His Excellency with his friends from other countries that are eager to help Zimbabwe. But we see that in countries like America, where you went to beg for sanctions, they have no remorse about the situation in Zimbabwe. They actually even wanted people in Zimbabwe to die like flies on the ground so that the regime change can be faster. But thanks to the Almighty, that did not happen. We as ZANU-PF will remain resolute, will remain resilient, and will continue winning all the elections that are going to come until eternity, because we are mandated to lead this country, and we will do everything possible to resuscitate the economy, to make sure there's food, and the people are going to butter their bread in Zimbabwe. We are actually even going to make Zimbabwe a bread basket of Africa again. If you can reference to the harvest that is happening right now, Zimbabwe is not going to beg for food anymore. So what I'm trying to say, all this that I'm trying to say, is that MDC Alliance, be like any other political party outside Zimbabwe. Other countries, they've got a better political opposition parties who are actually working with their government. This is called patriotism. You are not being patriarch. Or what you are doing is everything is that you always want to find a blemish. But I think even the Bible says, hypocrites, first remove a plank that is in your eye before you look in a speck that is in your brother's eye. Thank you very much.
And Mav, maybe success vaccination program in Zimbabwe. I think there's a false narrative that's going on that needs to be corrected here. Talk to any objective doctor, they would not characterize the vaccination effort so far as a success. You have 690,000 people who have been vaccinated so far, and we are in June. Zimbabwe wants to vaccinate at least 10 million people by December this year. And per day, yesterday, how many people did we vaccinate? 532. Those who got their first shot. And those who got their second shot, 4,991. Clearly, that's not a success story that Zimbabwe can also jump on when hearing Malema say, you know, things are well in Zimbabwe. I don't think we should be running with that story, really. The vaccination program is not going well because there's a shortage of vaccines. Government doesn't want to say that, but that is a fact. Talk to doctors. That is why yesterday they only vaccinated 532 people. for a government that wants to have at least 10 million vaccinations by December. Clearly, kukhona kungahambi kuhle khonapho. Mav.
Maybe let's also turn to Mr. Chivoza to comment on the situation of the vaccination program, where he is there in Bulawayo, and also comment on what Mr. Charumbira of ZANU-PF was alleging about MDC. Vachirodza meno kana maamuri kunzwa zvanga zvekutaurwa navacharumbira uyezve motipawo maonero enyu emafambiro ari kuita chirongwa chekubayiwa nhomba dzeCovid-19 ikoko kuBulawayo.
Ndazinzwa zvese zvengu achitaura ende ndinorangarira kuti mushakabvu Robert Mugabe ndo nyaya dzaaisimudza, ndo mamhepo aisimudza pese pese paitaurwa nyaya dzeZANU-PF, pese pese paibatwa ZANU-PF pachitaurwa chokwadi, aibva atora masanzi ovhara kumeso kuti ine nyaya yemasanction. Muchindere tinoti utsacha mwomunwe varibhechu ngendaba yamasanction. Sezvo anga achitaurawo nechirungu, regai ndimupindure nechirungu. Ndoti inini, the biggest sanction that Zimbabwe has suffered is corruption. Biggest sanction that Zimbabwe has suffered is the state-sponsored violence. Saka ndonga kune mucherechedzo wenyaya iri pamatare yaHenrietta Rushwaya isati yatongwa nekuti gold remuno munyika riri kubuda muno munyika risiri kuenda kureserve bank, zvichireva kuti nyika yedu hapana zvairi kuwana. Vacherechedza mwedzi yadarika kune akabatwawo kuSouth Africa ane gold rakawanda raibva muno muZimbabwe. Nhasi uno kune panhau reindependent vemauto vari kupomerwawo kunzi vari munyaya idzodzi dzegold. Saka todayira kuti kana chiri chokwadi ndo kuri kuenda upfumi hwenyika. Zvekunzi kune vanhu vakaenda kunana America kutaura kunoitawo vanhu vepolitics kana vachinyeperawo vanhu vatsigiriwawo. Asi chokwadi chiripo ndechekuti mabepanhau emuno muZimbabwe ari kutaura kuti gold remuno munyika riri kubuditswa nevanhu vanotsigira ZANU-PF. Saka tisade kunyeperana nezvinhu zvisizvo. Ndodzokera futi panyaya yendenge ichitaura yevoter registration kuti madependent not iri kunzi iyo inoregister pa16 Centenary Court Windsor Park building na 16th Avenue Bulawayo. Madependent not tiriutarisa nzvimbo dzinenge vana Victoria Falls, inzvimbo inenge iri about 470 kilometers. Saka vanhu unana Victoria Falls ndo vari kubva uye varegiste kuno kuBulawayo, kuchira kuti panenge pane dambudziko mukufamba. Vangani vangauye kuno kuBulawayo kuzoregista kana nzvimbo dziri kure kudaro. Saka ndotsimirawo futi kuti mukacherechedza zvekutaura kwaita munhu weZANU-PF, vezANU-PF vanenge vasina kana kushushikana nenyaya dzekuregista idzi, vanenge vasi kutombovanetsa. Vanhu veMDC ndo vari kunetsekana kutsvaka mari kuti vanhu varegiste, zvinoreva kuti pane zvisina kumira mushe muno munyika. Kumalo ndalo ngesindebele ukuthi i-registration center yabantu bema
Mnumzana Chirodza usakhona ecingweni. I think ubaba Chirodza soluqumile ucingo lwakhe lapho ngoba kasazwanani. Kodwa isibuyele kubaba uMalaba lapha.
He said he can hear you, so if you want to ask him a question, go ahead, and then I will drop off and you can speak to him.
Okay, bese ngilobaba uMalaba lapha sizaphenduka kuwe mnumzana Chirodza rega nitore va Malaba pa mafti chadzokera kwavari va Chirodza. Mnumzana Malaba usukhona njalo ecingweni?
Asengikhona.
Okay, sesisiye emaphethelweni ohlelo lapha kuyini ongakukhuthaza ikakhulu kubontanga ngohlelo lokuvota lo?
Into engayikhuthaza kubontanga ukuthi ngicelani ukuthi sihambeni ngobuningi siyobhalisa ukuvota njalo ukuthi kufika ku-2023 sihambe siyovota so that lathi sike sizwakala ukuthi sikhona ngeke saba siyi-population over 60% njengama-youth but singela say ezintweni ezenzakalayo njalo okunye engakutsho ukuthi ukuvota ilungelo lakho akusilo lomunye umuntu and kuba buhlungu nxa isikhathi sakho sesifile usuyekela ukuvota but then ususacomplaina society njani look angufuni but wena laba abalutshwana bahamba bazama but i-vote yakho can help a lot and sikhuthaza ukuthi ngobuningi kuhambe kuyovotelwa ama-youth.
Kungani kuqhakathekile lokho ukuthi abasakhulayo baphathe labo isikhundla esiphakeme?
Kuqhakathekile ngenxa yokuthi ama-decisions ayenziwayo engaba ezandleni zalaba abatsha kutsho ukuthi bona bazokhona njani ukwenza izinto zabatsha ngenxa yokuthi labo basatsha because umuntu omdala yena uyakwazi ngendlela akhona ukulida ngayo abantu but nxa uli-youth la uyakwazi ukuthi njani ama-youth asebenza so ama-youth acabanga so uyakhona ukuzisana labo and khona lokho esebesithina sikhuluma ngakho sisithi i-representation is very important because nxa sokubuya ama-laws engabuya bengavotela ama-laws la affect ama-youth so njengama-youth ilungelo lethu sokuthi sihambe siyocorrecta izinto esiyabe sizibona ukuthi njani lapha nje azikho right for ama-youth.
Mhlawumbe kokucina kumbe kungaba kuyikuthi abantu besaba i-COVID engxenye yikho bengaphakameli phezulu?
Hayi khonapho ku-COVID ngathi hayi abantu ma besaba i-COVID ngabe basendlini but kwesinye isikhathi uyakuthola abantu bephuma phandle lapha behamba bewalker besiya ethawuni ukuyenza i-business zabo so hayi COVID hayi.
Hayi no siyabonga Malaba bekukuhle kuba lawe kuhle.
Ya siyabonga lathu.
Nomzana Brendan Arnold Malaba ngowenhlanganiso ye-Uni Zim Trust okuyinhlanganiso ephatheke kuhlelo lokukhuthaza abasakhulayo ukuthi babhalisele ukuvota upon Mav Ndapezerana naba Brendan Arnold Malaba besangano re-Unizim Trust vari kuti hongo vanhu avazi kusimuka neuwandu kunonyoresa asi vari kuti vane vimbo yekuti nekufamba kwenguva vanhu vachawanikwa vachisimuka vachinyoresa vakawanda.
Ndanzwa zvakare vachitaura nekukosha kwakaita kuti vechidiki vavhotere vechidiki vati chii panyaya iyoyi?
Hanzi zvakakosha zvikuru kuti vechidiki vanyorese ndokuti vange vachivhoterawo vechidiki vapinde pazvigaro zviri uko zviri kumusoro uko ndokuti kana pachiiswa mitemo pachiitwa mapolicies pachiumbwa mapolicies vechidiki vawanikwe vachigarawo patafura kwete kuti mapolicies vechidiki awanikwe echiumbwa nevanhu vakuru chete saka hanzi ndizvo zvakakoshera kuti vechidiki vasimuke.
Let's turn to Mr. Chirodza of the MDC Alliance. Just, what is your policy right now? How are the youth participating in this registration process? Because going back to ZANU-PF, I have seen on social media recently, there seems to be a lot of campaigns where ZANU-PF is utilizing prophets and they're utilizing, youth advocates and people for in their own campaign. What is the MDC Alliance doing at this particular point? How are you targeting the youth?
Well, we've had various platforms in which we are canvassing for youth, but it's mainly for them to register to vote, and credit should actually go to the youth instead of us taking what should be their credit, because a lot of the youth, in fact, many of the youth are the ones that are pushing us and asking us to assist them to register. We have centers in townships where youth are meeting the youth leadership, especially with sports. We actually have about 8 football teams where the MDC Alliance uses as a platform for registering to vote. We also are using social media to mobilize the youth. And lately, there is an initiative by the women's wing of the Alliance also targeting the youth, because we feel that the women are motherly and may be more persuasive than some of us who are male. So it's a multi-pronged approach that we have. But like I said, the credit should be given to the youth for showing more initiative than those who are in the body politic.
Thank you. Motudzo nechishona tisataenda kuna vacharumbira ndikuzoti muripo here. Ndichakuonai vacharumbira muripo here. I'm not sure if Mr. Charumbira is still with us, but endererai zvenyu mberi muchitiudza kuti muri kuita sei panyaya yekukwezva vanhu kuti vanyorese kuvhota, nyanya vechidiki nemadzimai, imi seMDC Alliance.
Okay. Tine matournaments atiri kuita muno Bulawayo, matournaments ebhora. Saka tine matimu atakagadzira echidiki ebhora. Saka netball, napo, not football muchirungu. Ndokwatinoti kana vatamba tochiti no kuva munhu akatendeka kunyika yeZimbabwe, not patriotism, unova munhu akakwana kana waregister kuvhota. Saka platform yatiri kushandisa kuchikurudzira kuti varegister kuvhota. Tinosanganawo futi nevechidiki kumacenters, kumatownships, kwatinoitawo maclubs, zvinhu zvakawanda fanika sekugadzira maredhiyo, kugadzira mafoni, sakadaro zviri kutungamirwa neyouth wing yedu. Asi chatinoda pakupedzisira ndechekuti vanhu varegister kuvhota. Tozovawo futi neinitiative iri kubva kuwomen's wing sekuti tinotenda kuti vanamai zvinovarerukira kuti vataure nevechidiki. Tinoona kuti vana baba zvinogona kunge zviri zvinhu zvakavaomera kunge kuti vakwezve vechidiki, nokuti vana mama vane rudo, vana mama vanhu vagara vanofarirwa nemunhu. Saka ndangoti ndo nzira dzatiri kushandisa kuti tikwezve vechidiki kuti vaende kunoregister kuvhota.
Mutunga.
Yes, indeed, Mavya khuluma lapho ubaba uSwithan Chirodza oMDC Alliance ngenhlelo abalazo ezokukhuthaza ikakhulu abasakhulayo ukuthi babhalisele ukuvota, ngoba solusondele phela ukhetho luka 2023. Yikho abeZANU-PF laba abe-MDC Alliance, MDC-T, iZAPU, amabandla wonke nje ezombusazwe, yikho ephithekile egijima ndawana zonke zelizwe edinga usekelo njalo ekhuthaza abasakhulayo ukuthi babhalisele ukuvota njalo bawavotele lawo mabandla kukhetho oluzayo. Abasanda kusixhuma singumsakazo weStudio 7 njalo lolu luhlelo lwe-LiveTalk. Sikhuluma ke ngohlelo lokubhalisela ukuvota lamhlanje kanti siphethe njalo lo daba lomkhuhlane we-COVID-19 wona okhanya ususenyuka njalo kulezi insuku. Kodwa sikhangele olunye njalo udaba olusegudwini lamhlanje oluhamba phambili. There's some breaking news posted by Zim Live in the last hour about Chief Justice Luke Malaba saga. Zim Live are saying that Zimbabwe Human Rights NGO Forum Director Musa Kika has filed an urgent application at the High Court seeking that Luke Malaba be barred from exercising functions of Chief Justice until the Supreme Court hears the appeal against against the May 15 judgment again of the High Court, saying that he was no longer a justice after reaching a retirement at 70. So in other words, Mr. Musa Kika wants the High Court to enforce its earlier ruling that Luke Malaba is no longer Chief Justice. That's some interesting news there.
Thank you Ntunga. Apo tikunzwa Ntunga ari kutaura iye kuti bepa reZim Live repadande mutande riri kutaura iro zviri kuitika pamusoro penyaya yaChief Justice Malaba. Apo takaona nguva yapfuura takaona zvichinzi panga papuwa mutongo wekuti ngavambodzokera zvakare kubasa, asi vakika avo vakambotanga vaendesa nyaya yavo kumatare Malaba vakamiswa basa vadzokera zvakare kumatare kuti nyaya iyi ienderere mberi uyezve judgment yakapuwa kwekutanga iwanikwe iyo ichiremekedzwa. Saka inyaya yatichange tiri kuona kuti ichafamba sei, asi nyaya iyi taiona ichiburiswa iyo nebepa nawo reZim Live manguva ichangobva kubuda izvozvi. Ntunga.
Yebo kunjalo Mava. Abasemakhaya sithi kulodaba oluhamba phambili lapha olusanda kwethulwa inkundla yeZim Live. Babika bona ukuthi iqwetha umnumzana Musa Kika ongumqondisi wenhlanganiso yeZimbabwe Human Rights NGO Forum usekhweze amaphepha ngokuphuthuma enkantolo ye-High Court. Sithi linkantolo kumele inqume ukubana uMalaba, ubaba Luke Malaba kumele asuke esikhundleni sokuba ngumahlulo omkhulu welizwe uChief Justice andubana idale leSupreme Court lihluze isicelo sikahulumende lesicelo sakhe esokuthi kubekwe eceleni isinqumo seHigh Court esethule mhla ka-15 ngoMeyi kunyanga edluleyo esokuthi hayi uMalaba kasenguye umahluli weHigh Court. Abangaba bakhutwa yilolo daba mhlawumbe sichasise kancane. Ubaba uMalaba njengomahlulo omkhulu waqheliselwa isikhathi sakhe sokusebenza ngubaba uMnangagwa nge-5 years lanxa nje wayesefike ku-retirement 70 years. Lokho kwenzakala ngemva kokuguqulwa kwesekelo sombuso, kodwa amaqwetha afana labo Kika lama-young lawyers bagijimela enkantolo bathi hayi, osokusenziwa ngubaba uMnangagwa lokho akukho emthethweni. Ubaba uMalaba kumele asuke mhla ka-May 15 last month ngoba esefikise iminyaka yokuya kumpentsheni. La kanye yahlala inkundla ye-High Court yafumana ukuthi hayi uMalaba uqheliselwe i-contract yakhe ngokungekho emthethweni wasuswa esihlalweni. Kodwa uhulumende la uMalaba baphanga ba-aphila baphikisa leso sinqumo enkantolo ephezulu eSupreme Court. Wasebuyela ke emsebenzini ubaba uMalaba, kodwa uMusa Kika usebuyelile ke enkundleni esithi hayi iHigh Court kumele ienforce isinqumo sayo sikamhla ka15 May esokuthi uMalaba kumele asuke esihlalweni until isicelo sakhe esise Supreme Court size sihluzwe Maf.
On that high note in Tunga, that's very good breaking news. So people will have time to mule it over the weekend because this is a developing story, but we're hearing that from Mtunga. But we've actually come to the end of our program. Unfortunately, there is no extra time. So we'd like to thank our guest from ZANU-PF, Mr. Regis Charumbira, from MBC Alliance, who were here with us, Mr. Sweden Chiroodza, and also on Tunga, our guest from the non-profit organization in the country.
Unism Trust, that was Brandon Arnold Malava.
Yes, and I would like to just say, please have a happy weekend. And also to all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day on Sunday and future fathers.
Siyabonga, happy Father's Day lonke lani ma future fathers njengoba usho kaMav.
Amavu Mhlanganya kuye in Washington.
And I'm Tungamili Nkomo. Good night, Zimbabwe.
Bye-bye.